Hello, I'm Brant Baugh, the Integrated Pest Management Agent for Lubbock County, and we're going to cover aphid control and monitoring on roses today. There's three aspects to aphid control, especially when dealing with roses. Number one is going to be monitoring. Number two would be aphid identification, and number three would be our control tactics. When monitoring roses for aphids, you need to pay special attention to the meristematic regions or where the new growth is coming out. You need to pay special attention to the top side of the leaf and to the bottom side of the leaf, and dig way down in there next to the leaf axils and where the new buds are emerging. And this is where these aphids like to hide. In this example, you have all this new growth coming out here in the terminal area of this branch, and there's aphids all down in here. So pay special attention not just to the leaves, but to the leaf axils and to the stems themselves. Some of the damage symptoms that you need to look for is the presence of honeydew, the somewhat wilted, cup-shaped leaves. And what you'll notice is a high number of these aphids stacked into these actively growing regions, and within those areas you will see the honeydew that has been dropped onto the leaves. As you can see from these photographs, the distinguishing characteristics of aphids are that they are somewhat small, they are pear-shaped, and they come in different colors. And most of the aphids that you find on roses will be green in color. Some will be yellow. Some of the insects that can be confused with aphids on roses are the flea hoppers, the different plant bugs, and thrips. Now, thrips are small and slender colored insects, and most of the other pests that you find on roses are highly mobile. Another good characteristic for aphids is that they are somewhat sessile and they don't move very fast at all. Another excellent identification for aphids is the presence of cornicles coming off the hind end of the pest. Let's discuss the control of aphids on roses, and we're going to go over three major control tactics, starting with cultural control, and that's going to be the use of our high pressure water sprays and physically removing the aphids from the plant using your fingers, paper towels. And then we will discuss chemical control using the contact insecticides and the systemic insecticides. Now, depending on which control measure that you're going to use, you have to monitor your overall aphid infestations. It's hard to use these cultural control measures when you have a extremely high population of aphids on your plants. So monitoring is extremely important. Again, starting in mid-March and going all the way through until May, keep a watch on your aphid infestations. And when you start to pick them up in these actively growing regions of the plant, that doesn't mean that you have to automatically treat. You want to look for the presence of beneficial insects, especially ladybugs in this area. And just keep a watch overall on the plant and see if these infestations are moving from terminal to terminal. If the infestations are starting to increase and the beneficial insects aren't working for us, then it's time to start thinking about which control measure you want to use. If you're going to go the non-insecticide route, where you're going to use the high pressure water sprays, or you're going to physically just remove the aphids from the plant, you want to start this fairly early. If you have a plant that's just totally infested with aphids, then using the high pressure water sprays and or removing the aphids from the plant is a very time-consuming activity, especially if you have more than one row. So if you're going to go the non-insecticide route, let's not let the population get completely out of hand. If we're going to go with the systemics, and really I like this form of control better than the contact insecticides, the systemics need to go on fairly early. I would put them on when you have an increasing aphid population and the beneficials are not working for you. You need to get them on early as opposed to late, especially if you have a large rose bush. It takes a while for the plant to take up that systemic, to get it pushed into these meristematic regions. So therefore, you need to apply these products fairly early in the spring. Another reason why I like systemic insecticides is that it does protect our beneficial insects. Aphids do have a piercing sucking mouthpart. They are feeding on the phloem regions or the phloem vessels of the plant, and the insecticide is inside the plant itself, and therefore our beneficial insects are protected. The use of contact insecticides, I think, is very useful for when you're not monitoring your plants on a regular basis and you discover a very high population of aphids. You're picking up the damage, you're picking up a lot of honeydew. Then I think the contacts are necessary, but you do need to read and follow all labeled instructions for all of these control measures, and especially with the contact insecticides. Products like orthene are not to be sprayed when you have open blooms, and you can actually do more damage to your roses with contact insecticides than the actual pest is doing. So be sure to read all labeled instructions.